Canadian student at a foreign college. Chapter 1. Canadians at foreign colleges. Get a college degree outside of Canada. A Canadian citizen might have gone to another country to get a degree, or a foreign professional might want to work in Canada. Chances are your degrees or credentials won't be accepted without question unless they're from United States, Britain, or Australia. Canadians contemplating study abroad should check on the acceptability of their chosen program, institution, and credential back home in Canada before they go abroad to study it. Don't listen to what the school says or the fact that it's recognized in that country. Contact the Canadian credentialing authorities and ask them straight up. The procedure for recognition of foreign qualifications depends on whether your field is regulated or non-regulated. For regulated professions, requirements are set in each province by professional licensing and regulatory bodies. At the very minimum, check to see whether the institution and the credentials it offers are officially recognized by the country's education/credentialing authorities. Different countries use different methods of accreditation, a process leading to official recognition of an educational institution or program in that country and around the world. If you're taking distance learning courses in another country, be wary that the degree still has to be accredited in Canada. Once you have completed a foreign program of study, gather any official documentation you can that explains the content and value of the course or program or the credential, as well as information documenting the status of the institution and the program. When you return to Canada, you can show the credentialing evaluators. Foreign college degree websites. Canadian Bureau for International Education. 220 Laurier Avenue West Suite 1100. Ottawa, Ontario K1P5Z9. 613-237-4820. Fax, 613-237-1073. info@cbie.ca. cbie.ca. ccc.ca. unesco.org/iau/online-databases/index.html, find the educational authority in any country. enic-naric.net. arraydev.com/commerce/embassy/english/directory.htm, directory of diplomatic representatives in Canada. cbie.ca, Canadian Bureau for International Education. destineducation.ca, information on preparing for an international experience, coping with culture shock and re-entry issues. international.gc.ca/culture/education-youth/menu-n.asp, education and youth. Financial aid for Canadians studying abroad. There are some individual fellowships and scholarships offered by the host institution to foreign students. Write directly to the Office of Financial Aid and Awards of the institution you plan to attend. Your own university or college might have financial aid for students who want to study abroad for a part of their degree. Contact the school's Office of Financial Aid and Awards. Contact your province/territory's Ministry of Education branch for student assistance. There might be money for studying abroad. Try the Commonwealth Scholarship and Fellowship Plan and the Organization of American States Fellowships administered by the International Council for Canadian Studies for the Department of Foreign Affairs and International Trade. IIE.org, Institute of International Education. Fulbright.ca, Fulbright Program, supports foreign students in the United States, 350 Albert Street No. 2015, Ottawa, on K1R1A4. Scholarships.gc.ca/scholarships non-CDN-bourses etr-eng.aspx, programs for non-Canadians. Scholarships.gc.ca/home-acul-eng.aspx, other possibilities. Vanier.gc.ca, Vanier Canada Graduate Scholarship Program. afe.gov.qc.ca, funding for students from Quebec studying abroad. bccie.bc.ca, the BC Centre for International Education. ccc.ca/389/student-financial-assistance.canada. canlearn.ca/eng/main/designated/ldi.shtml Canadian study, travel, or work abroad. The following websites cover both Canadians who want to go elsewhere and foreigners who want to go to Canada. cic.gc.ca/english/study/work-volunteer.html, webindia123.com/career/study-abroad/canada/intro.htm, voyage.gc.ca/main/living/working_abroad-n.asp, 800-267-8376, prepare and plan to work abroad. cwy-jcm.org, Canada World Youth is a national, non-governmental organization that provides young people from Canada and around the world with the opportunity to travel, live, and work in different communities. agriventure.com, horizoncosmopolite.com, volunteer work, internships, and Spanish immersion. globetrottersducatayan.ca, cel.unb.ca/travels2d/rome/index.php, travel study program. canada123go.ca, 800-267-8376, government program, helps people aged 18 to 30 get short-term jobs in foreign countries. international.gc.ca/experience. 4-hcanada.ca/international programs. acdi-cida.gc.ca, Canadian International Development Agency, Junior Professional Officer Program. explorei.ca/studyabroad.ca, admin1intlcent.ualberta.ca/gotcpinfo/gotcp.html, Canada. afscanada.org, Youth Exchange. agriventure.com, Agriculture Exchange Programs, World. izc.org, International Association for Students of Economics and Commerce, Internships World. akfc.ca, International Development Management. ambafrance-ca.org, Canada-France Young Workers Exchange Program. aqwbj.org, for French Youth. aucc.ca/programs, many programs. aucc.ca/programs/int programs. aucc.ca/programs/int programs/chimo, Finland Exchange. austro.org/e/exchange pgms, Canada Austria Young Worker Exchange. bchla.org, British Columbia to Germany or Spain. britainInCanada.org. bunac.org.uk, Gap Canada or Work Canada Program. bunac.org/USA/Work Canada, Working Holiday Program. ca.acc.org, Canadian Students Work Abroad Program. ca.emb-japan.go.jp, Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, Working Holiday Program. cadets.forces.gc.ca/about-news/e-change_e, cadets International Exchanges. canada.org.au, Canadian Embassy in Australia, apply for your work permit here. canada.org.uk, booklet Student Temporary Employment in Canada. canada.org.uk/visa-info, Canadian Embassy in England, process your temporary work permit to Canada. canada.services.org. canadacorps.gc.ca. canadacouncil.ca, Council for the Arts. canadahomestay.com. canuckabroad.com. cbie.ca, Bureau for International Education. cbie.ca, Canadian Bureau of International Education. cciorg.ca/volunteer, Canadian Crossroads International. cf.ca, Canadian Education Exchange Foundation. ceso-saco.com, Canadian Executive Service Organization, placements for Canadians with professional credentials to volunteer overseas. cfs-fcee.ca/html/english/programs/work_abroad.php. cisv.ca, Children's International Summer Villages. civiweb.com, volunteering, in French. cjp.coop.uvic.ca, Japanese internships for Canadians. Classafloat.com, high school semester in a boat. Cody.sdfx.ca. Commonwealthgames.ca, internships. consulfrance-toronto.org, France Working Holiday Program. KoreaInternational.com, in French. cssg.ca, Canadian Summer School in Germany. ctf-fce.ca, Canadian Teachers Federation, Project Overseas. Cultural.org. QSO.org, Canadian version of Peace Corps. cwy-jcm.org, Canada World Youth. DAAD.org, German Academic Exchange Program. DestinEducation.ca, for foreign students and Canadians wishing to study abroad, called the Canadian Bureau for International Education. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/123go/menu-n.asp, youth programs. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/culture, variety of programs. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/culture/IER/academic relations/cultural and cultural personalities exchange. dfait-maeci.gc.ca/English/culture/youth exchange. dfat.gov.au, immi.gov.au, Australia Working Holiday Maker Program. education-excellence.ca, Manitoba German Exchange Program. emb-korea.ottawa.on.ca, Korea Working Holiday Program. encounters-recontres.ca, Canada. exchanges.gc.ca. experience.ca, Worker Exchange Programs. FOUT.com, Friends of the World Teaching and Nursing. frontiercollege.ca, Work on a Farm. frontiersfoundation.org. germanembassyottawa.org, Young Worker Exchange Program, Germany. heartlinks.org, Program in Peru. hopeinternational.com. hrdc-drhc.gc.ca, Youth International Internships Program. idrc.ca, International Development Research Center, Science Internships. iep.org.au/Canada Visas, Australians to Canada. iep.org.au/Work Canada, Australians to Canada. international.monster.ca. international.monster.ca/workabroad/links. international.ualberta.ca/study abroad. internationalstudent.com. interuniversity.com. intoexchange.org. catamavic.org. lam.org, Latin America Mission. learning-network.org. management.mcgill.academic/gawk, Management Summer School Abroad Program. mastersandscribes.com, books. mmint.org, Medical Ministry Canada. momiji-monde.com, French. monster.ca/international. mts.net/gcg, volunteer to be part of the team for the Global Change Game. mun.ca/german/scholar2.html. nacel.org/Canada, Youth Exchange. netcorps-cyberjeunes.org. netherlandsembassy.ca/passport, Young Workers Exchange Program, Working Holiday Program. nsis.com/cito/cito.html, Canadian Institute for Teaching Overseas. oac.uogwelf.ca, International Agricultural Program. onesmallplanet.com. outpostmagazine.com. p4k.org/resources/wkxbca, work experience in Canada. pao.org, Health Exchange Program. PangeaPartnership.org, Latin America. PeaceOperations.org. PeakLeaders.com. SeasonsOnSnow.com. PolicyLibrary.com, internships, jobs, scholarships, etc. QuebecFrance.qc.ca. QueensU.ca/IAESD, exchange of students for technical experience. QueensU.ca/quick/home. QueensU.ca/quick/WSA/index.hdm. QueensU.ca/quick/WSA/opportunities/work.hdm. quick.queens.ca. Renewfbooks.com, study abroad book. Rudistolearning.ca. sfu.ca/international. sikhai.org, India. sdatravel.com.au, program for Australians who want to go to Canada. swap.ca, swapinfo@travelcuts.com, student work abroad programs. swap.ca. swedishembassy.ca, working holiday program Sweden. travelcuts.com, Canada. ucalgary.ca/cted/specials/science/travel. umanitoba.ca/students/ics/wy/workgen.hdm. uwinnipeg.ca/web/faculty/French, French. vac-acc.gc.ca, student guide program in France. vergemagazine.ca. vergemagazine.ca/work.html. vivraeltranger.com. volunteerabroad.ca. whpcanada.org.au, Australians to Canada, working holiday program. workingoverseas.com, database, pay a fee. worldteach.org. wsc.ca, World University Service. wwfcanada.org, World Wildlife Fund, programs. yci.org, Youth Challenge International. yfu.ca, Youth for Understanding. yourq.ca/yourkin/students/workabroad/workabroad.hdm. youth.gc.ca. youthinternational.org. AFS Interculture Canada. 1231 St. Catherine Street Lest. Number 505. Montreal, Quebec H3G1P5. 514-288-3282. 800-361-7248. afscanada.org. International Exchange Program, live with host families in another country for the summer or host an exchange student in your home. Student Traveler Newsletter. 45 Charles St. East. Number 100. Toronto, on M4Y1S2. Statrav@travelcuts.com. travelcuts.com. travelcuts.com/ISIConnect, International Student Card. Temps Libre. 4545 Pierre de Coubertin. Montreal, QCHIV3R2. 514-252-3117. Publicizes hostels and provides information for youth to travel and study abroad. travelcuts.com. 888-838 Cuts. Education consultants to help Canadians study abroad. Australearn.org, educational consultants. Australearn provides students with study abroad opportunities in Australia, New Zealand, and Fiji at the college and university level. Barclaynap.com, educational consultants. Barclay and Knapp Educational Services study in UK, postgraduate/professional degrees including medicine, law, business, and education. CanTech.net, Canadian student recruitment for institutions in Australia, New Zealand, and Ireland. ComConsultants.com, agent for selected universities in Australia and the United Kingdom. Ownstrek.com, assistance to Canadian students planning to study in Australia. StudyAcrossThePond.com, study in the UK, undergrad, grad, law, teaching. Americans, Aussies, Brits, and Canadian students at a foreign college. By definition, an international student or a foreign student is usually a foreigner who wants to study in the United States, Australia, Canada, or Britain. At the same time, lots of Americans, Brits, Aussies, and Canadians don't just want to study abroad for a semester or so, which they can do as students at some American universities that have a study abroad program. They want to get their full degree in a foreign country at a foreign university. A lot of universities around the world teach a lot of their subjects in English, and the degree is in English because many fields use English as their default language. Some universities in foreign countries are called American universities either by name, like the American University of Paris, or description. This means they follow the American model, they speak English and are probably accredited for an easy transfer to American academic institutions or to get licensed in the professions. The best terms I could find to describe Americans, Brits, and Canadians studying in foreign countries are study abroad and international education. It's generally easy for a Brit, Canadian, or American to get into a foreign university with an English curriculum, but if it's in another language, you need to prove you are fluent in that language. Some American, British, and Canadian colleges have an international education office. This could mean one of two things. 1. It's the office where foreign students go to get processed into the university. 2. It's the office which processes its local, Canadian, British, and American students who want to do some of their courses in a foreign country. General info about studying at a foreign college websites. ed.gov/about/offices/list/us/international/us/edilite-students.html, Department of Education, information for international students and professionals. AmericanCouncils.org, American Council for International Education. InternationalStudentLoans.com. StudyAbroad.com. AbroadStudies.org. AIFS.com, American Institute for Foreign Study. AIFSabroad.com. AIFSPartnerships.com. AIFSPartnerships.com, the American Institute for Foreign Study. IESabroad.org, International Education of Students. AtlanticBridge.com, Application Services, Cultural Diversity Program through which the Irish medical, dental, and veterinary schools admit North American students. oabroad.american.edu/sites.cfm, study abroad options through American University. AUP.fr, the American University of Paris. bc.edu/bc_org/avp/soe/cihe, the Boston College Center for International Higher Education. Broward.edu/internationalducatian, international education at Broward College. caspercollege.edu/international_education. claremontmckenna.edu/study abroad/types-programs.asp. ed.gov/about/inits/ed/internationalt. educ.msu.edu/international, internationalization in education, international education. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/international_education. frontiersjournal.com/issues/vol9/04_vanderemide.htm, US academic institutions in a foreign country. imu.edu.cn/departments/iec/GOG, International College of Education, Inner Mongolian University. international-education.com, the consultancy on international education. intstudy.com, international education site for study abroad advice. myacpa.org, American College Personnel Association, College Student Educators International. salzburg.college.com/study-abroad/foreign.html. snc.edu/cie, Center for International Education, St. Norbert College. southaasianconnections.com/blog/950/y-American-students-attend-foreign-universities.html, why American students travel abroad and attend foreign universities? studyabroad.com/guides/handbook/handbook2.html west.edu, Western International University. YaleDailyNews.com/articles/print article/583, a different breed of American student abroad. YFU-USA.org, Youth for Understanding USA, real-world stories from American students overseas. English-speaking foreign college websites. A lot of universities around the world teach a lot of their subjects in English, and the degree is in English because many fields use English as their default language. India and the Philippines are English. BestCollegeChina.com. BrainLink-Consultants.blogspot.com/2010/free-education-around-world.html. CampusGrotto.com. CIS.org. CYPRUS-forum.com/cyprus373.html. DubaiFAQs.com/universities-dubai.php. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_universities_in_Malaysia. en.wikipedia.org/wiki/list_of_universities_in_Switzerland. engineeringinchina.net. escapeartist.com. escapeartist.com/studying_abroad/foreign_medical_schools_europe.html. eu.scholargrounds.info/what-countries-in-Europe-offer-cheap-education-for-foreign-students. eu.scholargrounds.info/what-countries-in-Europe-offer-cheap-education-for-foreign-students. higd-end-travelland.com/universities-in-Switzerland.html. hotcourses.com. hidebest.org/education/colleges/theenglishandefo.php, Hyderabad. hziegler.com/locations/middle-east/Qatar/articles/international-universities-in-Qatar.html. iubh.de/n, Business School Germany. japan-guide.com. learn4good.com. learn4good.com/great_universities/universities_germany.htm. londontown.com/education. londontown.com/education. scholargrounds.info. spainexchange.com. spainexchange.com/study_spain/universities_in_Spain.php. studyinthailand.org. studyinukraine.org. studymalaysia.com. transitionsabroad.com. unixl.com/info/universities.htm, universities worldwide.